Hello everyone, have you heard about crypto and DeFi? If not, no worries. We are going to take you on a quick journey of these buzzwords today. Are they passing fad or game changer? At the mention of crypto and DeFi, the first thing we have to discuss is Bitcoin, the largest token by market value. Make a guess, how much is the price plunge of Bitcoin in the last year? 20%? 50%? No, it's almost 75% from the high reached in November 2021, which was 87,000 Singapore dollar. By the end of 2022, the price for one Bitcoin was only 22,000 Singapore dollar left. After knowing this, you probably want to draw the conclusion. It must be another tulip fad. However, it might not be that simple. Many people consider crypto and decentralized finance or DeFi as a game changer for fiat money and for the current financial system. Let's first go through the evolution of money and the financial system before we say why it could be this case. You probably know finance is the management of money and includes activities such as investing, borrowing, lending, and saving. The evolution of money went through commodity, precious metals, and paper money several stages. Specifically, in the early days, people used commodity as a mode of payment. One example are people in central Mexico. They use cocoa beans for trading. However, using such commodity for trading has its disadvantages as commodities' size and shelf life matter. This is why minted currency was such an important innovation. As far back as 25,000 BC, Egyptians created metal rings to use as money. Then, actual coins made from precious metals such as gold, silver, or copper appeared around 700 BC. The money and payment system is a decentralized commodity system. For example, when gold was a primary medium of commerce, a gram of gold was simply worth a gram of gold. It was named the gold standard. It was a simple system in which you could buy anything with another atom that have equal value. Gold was valued because everyone knew how rare it was. However, the problem is metallic coins were quite heavy to carry for daily transactions. Then we had paper money. The first recorded use of paper money was purported to be in China during the 7th century AD. It worked quite similar as modern-day banking. Individuals would deposit their gold with a trustworthy party, now we would call it a bank, and receive a note denoting how much gold they had deposited. The gold can then be redeemed at the bank by whoever has the note. In other words, the system eventually evolved into a centralized commodity-backed system. The trustworthy party or the bank is the system's centralized point. It holds gold for its clients and authorizes the notes. Although the paper had no intrinsic value, people believed it was worth what it says it was worth, and that they could always exchange it for gold, silver, or the coins it represented. Attempts to peg currency to a fixed gold standard continued for centuries. Then, due to the need for flexible exchange rates, the world stopped trying to keep to the gold standard in the early 1970s. This is what we call fiat currency. Fiat is a Latin word that means let it be done or it shall be, and is used to refer to an order or rule. Fiat money, unlike commodity-based money, is not backed by any gold or silver. Instead, it's backed by the government of the country. For example, if you sell shoes in New York shopping center, you must take the US dollar as a means of trade, since the government has declared the US dollar as a legal currency. Although these notes are little more than scraps of paper, they are worth their face value because they were issued by the government. Trust in the issuing government is now the only thing that distinguishes a banknote from any other paper. More recent payment instruments are credit card. The card issuer creates a bank account for the cardholder from which the cardholder can borrow money for payment to a merchant or as a cash advance. Now, contactless payment or mobile payment has become the main tool of the transact in our daily life. We generally do not carry cash, checks, or credit card around nowadays. We simply use our mobile phones to make a payment. Meanwhile, cryptos are disrupting the existing money and payment systems. Bitcoin is the most popular cryptocurrency and can be accepted as payment by some shops. But how exactly do we get Bitcoins? One way to do so is through mining. Bitcoin mining process is how the cryptocurrency Bitcoin is minted and issued to circulation. You may already notice the difference from fiat currency, which is issued by the central bank. In crypto world, there is no central party like central bank. It is generated and minted through this mining process. Then how to mine Bitcoin? Imagine that you have been tasked to search for hidden gold in a mountain without any assistance or direction. How do you proceed? You probably can only dig the ground surface at random. This process is to some extent similar to the Bitcoin mining process, of which the outcome is also purely random. Bitcoin miners need to solve a complicated computational hash puzzle through trial and error. Solving the hash puzzle is like miners competing to open the lock without knowing the password. To open the lock, after you forget the password, what you can do is keep trying different combinations of these 4 digits. The search for a nonce to solve hash puzzle is similar. It's done by sheer brute force use of processing power. Just keep trying. To solve this so-called hash puzzle set by the network of Bitcoin blockchain, the miner who first finds the random number that solves the puzzle will get a reward of newly minted Bitcoins. It's worth noting that miners' rewards for successfully completing hash puzzles halve every 4 years. The supply of Bitcoin is capped at 21 million, which is forecasted to be all mined by the end of the year 2140. The mining sounds like a good deal. Think about electricity and telecommunication bills you have to pay for while mining the Bitcoins. Also, think of the competition around the world. After all the effort and expenses, there is a chance that you might get nothing. Now, let's put things together. Money system has evolved from decentralized commodity system, commodity-based paper money system, to centralized fiat money system. The decentralized cryptocurrency system without government backing is considered by some people as the future of money and can potentially disrupt the current centralized fiat money. In the decentralized blockchain system, there is no trusted central bank or government to control the money system. The money is minted through mining. In addition, the money transactions ledger is kept by miners rather than banks. Different from fiat money transfer, which requires the transaction to go through the intermediary institutions such as banks, Bitcoin is transferable to anyone from anywhere in the world without the use of bank or financial institutions. Bitcoin is a decentralized currency. When cryptocurrencies become a more widely accepted means of payment, such that the ordinary people might even consider buying groceries with cryptocurrency, it's the time we get into the next stage of the money evolution journey. But remember that there is a long way for Bitcoin or other cryptocurrency to become widely accepted. There are a series associated problems as well, such as extremely high volatility, large consumption of electricity for mining, and market speculations and scams. Next, let's start the discussion of the evolution of the finance and the disruptive impact of DeFi. In the discussion of the evolution of money just now, we have come to one important concept, bank. Bank connects us with money from saving money to making payment and to getting a loan. They have become an essential part of everyday life. But how did they appear out of nowhere? In other words, how finance industry emerged out of nowhere. Let's go back to the banking history. During the Middle Ages, Italy established the first banking system. Italians used to conduct business and transactions while sitting on a bench. In Italian, the word banco refers to a bench. The word banco changed and became bank. Technically, the banking system began with the barter system, in which people exchanged and traded goods they already had for things they needed. This was beneficial until the point when people realized they needed a common commercial tool for trading. Because gold was widely used, people began using gold coins as a trading tool, which led to the birth of banks. The traditional banking system was initiated through the concept of safe deposits. When merchants traveled all over the world, they needed a place to safeguard their gold coins. So they approached the goldsmiths to store gold in their safety vaults. And this is how safe deposit came to be. When the money was idle in the safety vault, smiths began lending it to people, earning interest on it. He also gave a portion of the profit to merchants as an incentive to deposit more gold coins with him. There is a saving banks or deposit scheme in later stages and is still regarded as one of the safest investment plans. The world's oldest chartered bank is a Bank of St. George in Italy, which was founded in 1407. Since then, the entire banking process has now been confirmed to small medium, such as computers and mobile phones. Simply open your computer or mobile. You will be able to transfer money and apply for credit and loans immediately. But don't be tricked by the convenience of mobile banking. Always remember, there is a bank running the mobile banking application. Why do I have to stress this point? This is because the user experience of decentralized finance and traditional centralized finance can be similar. Both can provide services through mobile applications. But whether there is a centralized institution serving as the intermediary behind the application is the key difference. As you might find that today, all financial services such as loans, insurance, cash account, safe deposit, card payment, investment, saving plans, and money exchange, all centralized, which means that we have to use some financial institution as intermediary rather than trade with the counterparty directly. For example, we save our money in banks who offer a relatively lower interest rate as compensation. Meanwhile, the bank lends money to whoever needs the money at a higher interest rate. Is it possible to skip bank and borrow directly from people who have extra free money at a lower interest rate? Or when we buy or sell stocks, we usually place the order to our brokers, who will then execute the order at exchanges. Can we possibly bypass the broker and exchanges and trade against the counterparty directly? In the traditional financial system, the answer is no, simply because centralization is the most prominent element of a traditional financial system. The term centralization refers to a single point of control. Centralization in finance has historically been desired as a measure and maintainer of stability in global financial operations. However, the centralized finance sector may not be as stable as we hope it to be. Then the question becomes, can we decentralize the entire financial system in the same way that Bitcoin decentralized money? That is precisely what decentralized finance is about. According to Wikipedia, decentralized finance, often for short DeFi, refers to a blockchain-based form of finance that does not rely on central financial intermediaries such as brokerages, exchanges, or banks to offer traditional financial instruments. Instead, it utilizes smart contracts on blockchains, the most common being Ethereum. In other words, DeFi refers to financial services that lack a centralized authority or someone in charge. We can build exchanges, lending services, insurance companies, and other businesses using decentralized money, such as certain cryptocurrencies that can be programmed for automated activities. To create a decentralized financial system, the first thing we need is an infrastructure for programming and running decentralized services. Fortunately for us, Ethereum does exactly that. Ethereum is a platform for developing decentralized programs, also known as decentralized apps or dApps. Using Ethereum allows us to write automated code, also known as smart contracts, that manages many financial services we want to create in a decentralized manner. This means that we determine the rules for how a particular services will operate, and once these rules are deployed on the Ethereum network, we no longer have control over them. Moreover, they are immutable. In sum, smart contracts provide a technical foundation for DeFi by eliminating the middleman through publicly traceable coded agreements. Other than technical foundation, let's take a look at some of the components that make up DeFi from business angle. When we talk about financial system, which word we will first think of is probably money, isn't it? The money in DeFi system is a stablecoin. You may be thinking, why not use Bitcoin or Ether, Ethereum's native token? Well, Bitcoin is decentralized. It only has very basic programmable functionality and is not compatible with the Ethereum platform. Ether, on the other hand, is both compatible and programmable, but is also extremely volatile. We will need a more stable currency to operate within this system if we want to build a trustworthy financial services that people will want to use. Stablecoins come into play here. Stablecoins are cryptocurrencies whose value is tied to the value of a real-world asset, such as fiat money, cryptocurrency, or commodity like gold. But most of the stablecoins are pegged to the major currency, the US dollar. USDT, USDC, and DAI are three popular stablecoins. Among these three popular choices, USDT and USDC to some extent are centralized projects. This is because users of these currencies have to trust that the value of these stablecoins is backed one versus one by reserves held in the accounts of the company that deploys the coin. In other words, the stability of the currency is conditional on whether the company or organization can comply with audits and government regulations and has a transparent, fully backed reserve. As our topic is DeFi, to illustrate how to design a system without a central party that provides financial services, let's use DAI, which does not rely on fiat money reserves to maintain a peg. Specifically, DAI is a decentralized cryptocurrency pegged to the US dollar, which means that one DAI equals one US dollar. Unlike USDT and USDC, which are directly backed by US dollar reserves, DAI is backed by crypto collaterals that can be viewed publicly on the Ethereum blockchain. In some, DAI is decentralized and are backed by more novel methods of maintaining a fixed price peg, which crucially don't rely on intervention from any kind of centralized company or entity. Anyone can check on the platform's block explorer and see exactly how the cryptocurrency is working behind the scenes. Next, let's take a deep dive on this novel stablecoin DAI. DAI is a stablecoin cryptocurrency on the Ethereum blockchain maintained and regulated by MakerDAO. MakerDAO is a decentralized autonomous organization rather than incorporated company. You may wonder what is DAO? As defined by Wikipedia, a decentralized autonomous organization is an organization constructed by rules encoded as a computer program that is often transparent, controlled by the organization's members, and not influenced by a central government. In other words, they are member-owned community without centralized leadership. A DAO's financial transaction records and program rules are maintained on a blockchain. It's relatively new, therefore the precise legal status of this type of business organization is unclear. Essentially, you can consider MakerDAO as a digital vault system where users can deposit Ether and use them to mint DAI. Does it sound familiar? Sound just like individuals deposited their gold with a trustworthy entity in ancient China to receive a note indicating how much gold they had deposited. Or merchants in ancient Italy stored their gold coins in goldsmiths' safety vaults before they went traveling, isn't it? Also, you can consider it like going to the bank to get a loan, but without going through the tedious process of providing documentation. The loan is secured by the value of the assets you deposit into this digital vault. Assuming you want to borrow $1,000 from a bank. Typically, the bank will require some form of collateral, which can be used to repay the loan in the future if you fail to repay what you owe. In addition, the bank will charge interest on the loan. The DAI cryptocurrency model is similar. You can borrow money by providing a guarantee and paying interest. These borrowed dollars are issued in the form of the DAI token, which is worth $1. Another cryptocurrency, such as Ethers, provides a guarantee. Consider the following scenario. The cost of one Ether, let's assume, is $1,000. The annual interest rate for borrowing DAI is 1%, and you want to borrow $1,000. For example, you could leave one Ether as collateral for the loan. In other words, you must lock one Ether in order to receive 1,000 DAI tokens. If you don't return these 1,000 DAI tokens with a corresponding interest, the protocol will sell you Ether tokens to pay off the debt. Now you may wonder, what is the value of the debt if the price of the Ether token is to fall? Obviously, the loan would become insolvent. Given that the collateral we use Ether token are extremely volatile, how can we use Ether to mint DAI with stable value? Answer to this question is through over-collateralization. In the case of loans with an Ether token as collateral, the required collateral value is 1.5 times the value of the debt borrowed. This is so-called over-collateralization. In other words, if you deposit $1,000 in Ether, you can only borrow $666 rather than $1,000 in DAI. When you want your Ether back, simply repay the DAI you borrowed and the Ether will be released. The repaid DAI will be burnt. If the user is liquidated, the collateral is sold to exchange for DAI tokens, which are then burned in the same manner. This is a good summary of how the system works. from the creation of DAI tokens to their destructions. The number of DAI tokens in circulation is determined by the amount of collateral currently deposited. Because DAI is over-collateralized, even if Ether's price becomes extremely volatile, the value of the locked Ether backed the DAI in circulation will almost certainly remain at or higher. Now you may ask, if you don't have any Ether to use as collateral, can you have DAI? Answer is yes. You can also purchase DAI on an exchange at the market price, which is usually very close to $1. In essence, the DAI stablecoin is a smart contract that runs on the Ethereum platform. As a result, DAI is a truly trustless and decentralized stablecoin that cannot be shut down or censored, making it an ideal form of money for other DeFi services. There are various DeFi protocols. For example, people can trade cryptos through decentralized exchange without third-party involvement. Traders have full control over their assets and the trading process. Uniswap is the most popular decentralized exchange of cryptocurrencies so far. Decentralized lending protocols are other widely used applications in the DeFi ecosystem, which are services that connect borrowers and lenders directly. Non-fungible token is a unit of data stored on blockchain that certify a digital asset to be unique and therefore not interchangeable. NFTs can be used to represent items such as photos, videos, audios, and other types of digital files. Finally, synthetic assets are derivative tokens that provide exposure to other assets, such as gold, equity, fiat currency, or cryptocurrencies. All such innovation based on public chain do not require intermediary and are instead based on collection of code. Now we have come to the end of this class. In this class, we review the evolution of money and financial system and discussed how crypto and DeFi can potentially disrupt the current centralized fiat money and financial system. Hope you enjoy, and please feel free to send your questions through Slido. I will answer as much as I can. Now we get some questions from Slido. So the first one, as we know, Bitcoin blockchain is public, but people also say Bitcoin blockchain is the safest blockchain. How can this be? Yeah, we know that the Bitcoin blockchain is public, and which may make it seem unsafe, but in the case of Bitcoin, it helps to make it safe. Although users are anonymous, all transactions on the network are accessible to the public, making it difficult to hack or cheat the system. So talking about why blockchain is safe, the cryptographic system makes the transactions irreversible, which means once a block is created on the chain, it cannot be modified. You can, however, add information to it. This restricts people from reversing any transaction that has already taken place. Finally, the decentralization feature also contributes to the security. The Bitcoin network is distributed and has thousands of nodes all over the world that keep track of all transactions happening on the system. This ensures that in case something goes wrong on one server, there are others to back up. And this makes it meaningless to hack any one server. Now here is the second question. We see many blockchain companies collapse like dominoes last year. Can financial intermediary be seriously replaced by blockchain technology? Oh, this is a good question. So essentially, as we know that blockchain technology consists of a vast network of computers that keep an open, incorruptible, common record that can be updated without the need for a central authority. So therefore, in theory, it can replace the financial intermediary. There is no doubt that a decentralized financial system can help a large proportion of the population who are currently subjected to financial discrimination, high fees, and inefficiencies in managing their funds. Compared with centralized financial system, there are many advantages. To name a few, such as transparency, interoperability, decentralization, free for all services, and a flexible user experience. However, there are some perils to be aware of. The most significant risk is that DeFi is still in its early stages, which means that things can go wrong. In the past, smart contracts have had issues where people did not correctly define the rules for certain services, and hackers found creative ways to exploit existing loopholes in order to steal money. If you decide to try out any of the existing DeFi services, make sure to do with money you can afford to lose if something goes wrong. Furthermore, keep in mind that a system is only as decentralized as its most central components. This means that some services may only be partially decentralized. So, with some centralized aspect remaining as Achilles' heel, it's critical to understand how the product or service worked before investing in it, so that you can be aware of any issues that may arise. So I'm afraid that we are running out of time, and thanks for joining us today. I will continue answering questions offline. Have a good day.